everyone, welcome back to the vlog. We have had quite the past 24 hours. Essentially, I was out traveling and I was trying to get back home and my flight got all delayed and everything. So it has been chaotic, to say the least. My flight was supposed to come in to Newark yesterday, but the East Coast got slammed with a bunch of storms, so there was a bunch of flooding. My original flight got canceled due to that. They rebooked me onto another flight. We literally were waiting for 8 hours in this terminal, waiting for this plane to come from New York. And then as soon as the plane gets in, and it keeps getting delayed. We're sitting in the terminal and we keep waiting to hear that the plane's taken off and is on its way. It's just sitting basically at the airport. And finally this plane takes off. Finally this plane gets into our gate, our terminal. You know, the people walk off the plane and everyone's like, okay, finally, we get to go. And then they make this announcement. The pilot has called out sick. And we'd been sitting there for 8 hours in this airport. And they didn't think to tell us that hours before. So everyone was very upset. They gave us hotel rooms and everything, but then I had issues with that. It was this whole thing. Needless to say, we stayed the night. Our flight left, so it was supposed to leave originally. I was supposed to be home by 6:30 yesterday. The flight left at 11:40 this morning, and I have just gotten to my car because I had to fly into a different airport. I had to fly into JFK, even though I flew out of Newark. So I had to fly into JFK because that was the only flight they had to New York City. And so I had to fly to JFK. I took the trains this morning, and I've been taking the trains for the past hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm finally back to my car, so I can actually talk to you guys. And I have to go figure out how much it's gonna cost since my car was here overnight and I didn't get to pick it up last night. So that's my current thing, and then I'm gonna try and get home the rest of the way. We have a 3-hour drive to get home tonight. We're gonna go off to the road. This is our final stretch of getting home. This has been a very chaotic vlog. I figured I would take you guys along with me because travel issues are fun, and I was like, it'd be good to have a buddy in all of that. So let's go figure out the parking fiasco. Guys, the girl literally was just like, oh, you're fine, babe, don't worry about it. That was so nice. You don't know the stress I've had the past couple days. Oh, this city annoyance. I'm sorry. All these people and it smells weird. I just want to go home. But now we are! Let's go! This car letting me go. Thanks, buddy. That's awfully nice of him. Alright, you guys, I need my directions to at least get out of here. So, I'll let you know once we're on the road. Hey guys, we are still basically in Newark. I hit some traffic though, so figured the traffic says 17 minutes long. So I think we'll be sitting here for a while. I was just snacking, not sponsored. Yeah, so I feel like I have not talked to you guys in a very long time. And it's funny because the last vlog I put out was basically the same thing. I was basically saying the same thing. I am sorry that really nothing has changed since then. Basically, my summer has been incredibly busy. We've had friends come over to visit. We've had family coming to visit. I've been traveling. My family's traveling. There's just been a lot of moving parts to the summer, and I feel like I have genuinely not had any time to film or to edit anything. It kind of stinks because I miss talking to you guys and I miss doing videos and having a consistent schedule and stuff. I'm hoping that life will slow down a little bit in the next coming month or so, and I'll be able to be a little bit more consistent. I've also been having a tough time thinking of stuff to film and things to do and talk about. It's just tough because I feel like my inspiration just isn't there. Because when I was traveling Australia, I feel like everything was exciting and everything felt exciting to me to film. When I'm living at home, it's not that exciting to me, and I feel like it's very mundane. It's hard for me to stay inspired, I guess, to do content. Or I guess I'm still trying to figure out what type of content I could put out. Just being at home, because to me it's boring and not super exciting. I know my whole belief is I know everyone has a different normal, and that my life is probably super exciting to somebody else. And I always try to remember that, because when I was traveling, their life seemed so exciting, just like everything about it. I also know that if people, like my friends from Australia, when I tell them about stuff here, like they are interested in what I'm doing. But I guess that's just weird because for me, I'm like, I find it boring. Needless to say, not to be that cliche YouTuber that is always saying like, if you have any video ideas or if there is anything you guys want to see, you know, comment below. Because I think that's also one of the issues. It's like having no time to film something, but even the stuff that I think of filming, I end up filming it and then editing it. I decide that I hate it and then I don't want to put it out. So I don't like putting stuff out that I'm not proud of. I think I tend to be a little too harsh on myself sometimes. I am traveling again, so I figured I would at least talk with you guys for my trip home because it's just been crazy. I can tell you guys, I had a friend from Australia visit. I don't know if you guys remember, Caleb came to visit. He is doing study abroad in Canada and was traveling all about. He came and visited before he went up to Canada and everything, so that was cool. He was the first Aussie friend I've seen since I left, so that was really nice. Got to show him around my country this time. I don't really have many other plans for the rest of the summer, and that's funny because I feel like I haven't had many plans this summer to begin with. I feel like stuff has just kind of popped up every week. Before I know it, the whole week is booked up and I don't have time for anything, or if I have the time for it, I don't have the energy for it because I'm tired doing other things. I feel like I don't even know like how to explain how it's been. Like it's just a lot of short last minute plan type of things, like friends asking like, oh, we should hang out, or hey, you want to come to this, or appointments that I have after work, or like getting my car fixed. We live far enough away that anything after work is kind of annoying, like, and I get off work like, I mean, it's normal time for everybody. I get off work at 5, but before I could even get home and do anything, like I have to drive a half hour, so that's not ideal to have that commute every day, just because it does really add up by the time you get home. And if you go do anything, then you still have a half-hour drive at the end of the night. I usually don't want to be out late for that reason. I don't want to be doing things. It's hard. I don't even know how to just like explain it, because I feel like also this year, we've said this a billion times on this vlog, but this year has been flying by. I genuinely cannot believe that it is the middle of August. That is wild to me. It is more than halfway through the year. Like next month is September, and that's when it starts transitioning to fall. I've already seen some trees here, like on my drive, that have started to change color, and I'm like, please stop. Like, this is not okay. The summer, I feel like, just started, but it's already over. The leaves are starting to change. That means fall is going to start happening, like, next month. It usually starts in September, but then it goes full-fledged in October. And obviously, you guys know, I live upstate New York, so, well, technically Pennsylvania. I have had a tough time trying to explain to people where I'm from. I usually say I'm from New York because, in my mind, I'm still a New Yorker. But I guess, technically, we don't live in New York anymore. We live in Pennsylvania, but I still work in New York. It's very confusing, but I feel like I tell people I'm from New York because we don't really do anything in Pennsylvania other than live there. Like, that's where our house is. But if we go shopping, that's all in New York, like all that stuff. There's a guy aggressively talking behind me. It's kind of stressing me out. Oh, it looks like they're arguing. Hope you guys resolve that. In the fall time, you know, at this time of year is when, or at autumn, as some of you are probably laughing at me for saying fall. Listen guys, I'm American, and I've definitely assimilated back. In the fall time, all the leaves change, and the whole, like all the hillsides get covered in like red, yellow, orange colors. Like all the leaves change color before they fall. It's weird because I don't really think twice about it. I've just grown up, that's normal for me every year to experience, you know, the crisp air and the pumpkins and the apples. We have a lot of apple picking. Again, from New York, it's the Big Apple. And like those fall fair things and corn mazes. But the main thing is like the leaves changing. That's like the big thing every year. You know, it's all the leaves change and it peaks like one weekend out of the fall. Now we live in the country, so I'm super excited for that because I haven't experienced it, because last year I was abroad in Australia, so I didn't get to see the leaf change at our house. So I'm excited for it, but I just also feel like it's too soon. And I also forget that the leaves changing is not a normal thing for everybody. And I think it's actually up there with one of the world's like great wonders or something. I can't remember if it's actually on the list. I could see why people would travel for that. It is really pretty. Like, I don't think you'd be able to see that much color on a hillside probably any other time during the year. The New England area, or like upstate New York, the Adirondacks, during the fall, like all the hills covered in bright colors. If I have a picture, which I definitely do, I'll put one in to show you guys because it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited for fall. I always am. It's a nice time of year. The vibes are always good. It just feels too early to me. I feel like I can't get on board because I feel like mentally it's still July. Like, I'm also at that point of the year where I could basically plan out the rest of my year, which is also weird because I'm like, next year is gonna be 2025. Do you know how crazy that is? And then I think about it, I'm like, I'm gonna be 23 next year. I am growing up, you guys. I'm growing up too fast. And if that scares you, think about how much that scares me. I don't know when that happened. Like, I still feel like mentally and physically I'm 18. Well, physically not so much. Physically, I feel like I crack more and I'm all stiff in the morning and everything. I have to crack my back now, like every night before I go to bed. But mentally, I still feel like I'm 18. Like, I feel like I just graduated high school. But in reality, I have a whole college degree. I have an adult job. You know? Like, how weird is that? I feel like one day it just all changed. But I'm not fully like grown up yet because I still live at home, still saving up money and like paying off my debt and stuff like that. Even in the midst of all of the travel stuff today, I was texting my mom. I was just like, I feel kind of like a pro traveler at this point. I just was so confident and comfortable traveling with the trains today, which me a couple years ago would have been terrified if I had to do that by myself. I honestly was having a great time. Like, I was playing music in my AirPods and was bopping, just kind of taking it all in. It kind of took me back to Australia, like having to travel all the trains in Australia. You know, if you guys have been watching me that long, when I went to the Blue Mountains, I rode those trains for 5 hours. I mean, but that wasn't super complicated. It was just kind of like up and over. I just had to rely on the public transportation so much when I was abroad that I feel like I've gotten really used to using Apple Maps in their public transportation. And it's always reliable. I really haven't had any issues with it. It got me through today. I was just saying to my mom, I was like, I'm kind of proud of myself. Like, that made me feel older. That made me feel a bit more mature because I have literally traveled and lived across the world by myself. I feel like I've started to get to the point where I forget that I did that. I know all of you guys probably don't think that because I think that's what most people know me for, is like traveling abroad. It's funny because I think that, I mean, it hasn't even been a full year of me being back home. I was abroad this time last year. I just feel like so much has changed and happened, you know, coming back, and I don't know. It's to the point where I feel like I forget that I lived abroad by myself for 5 months and that I was that independent for a while because I didn't have friends when I first got there. I kind of slowly accumulated them, and then I had quite a few by the time I left. And I still talk to a lot of them, actually, and I need to do a lot of catch-ups. So any of you guys watching this, I apologize, but life has literally been so crazy. I don't know, it's just moments like that where I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do have all of that experience under my belt, living by myself for 5 months in a foreign country halfway across the world from anything I ever knew. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of crazy. And then it gives me a whole boost of confidence. And it's funny because before I left for Australia, I was thinking about how if there was ever a point in time where I was traveling by myself in the future, I would have this feeling that I would be able to basically go anywhere or do anything, because going to Australia was as far as I could go by myself. And I basically have this mentality now that I'm like, well, you went the farthest place you could possibly go alone and you lived there for 5 months. So everything else is going to feel like light work. Once you've done the biggest jump and the biggest travel, it becomes super easy. So that's a cool aspect of going abroad. It gives you a newfound confidence that definitely comes in handy in the future. So there's another selling point for you guys looking to go abroad, if any of you are watching this video. We are still stuck in traffic. This traffic's taking a bit, but at least we're moving. That's my silver lining with anything today. I also thought I was going to get back a lot earlier. It turns out I'm not going to get back till probably 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And then I have to wake up at 6:30 tomorrow to go to work. Then when I think about that, I'm like, but I'm lucky to have a job. I'm lucky to have employers who are flexible and understanding when it comes to issues like this. And I'm just lucky to, I don't know, I just feel like for the most part, in my life right now, I'm exactly where I want to be, which I don't think a lot of people my age could say that. A lot of people, I think, are striving to constantly achieve more and more and more, and I think that this is the time of your life to feel like that, but I am honestly so content right now in my life. It's just a state of contentment, and I'm just so thankful for that, because I feel like that hasn't always been the case. And I feel like once you reach that point in your life when you can kind of just exist in peace and you don't even need to be stressed about anything, life is great. And there's your little motivational speech for the day. And now I'm merging into 3 lanes of traffic, and the travel continues, you guys. Can't wait to take the back roads, put the windows down, put the music up. I haven't been able to drive in like a week, and I do really like driving. It is relaxing for me, for the most part. Not this type of driving when I'm in 4 lanes of traffic, but once you get to back roads and the sun setting and a nice sunny day, blue skies, such a good vibe. I'm also glad I don't have to drive in the middle of the night. I can't even explain how bad everything was handled yesterday. And I was flying with Delta, and Delta's had a lot of issues recently. I flew with them to go to Australia, and I loved my flight with them and back. They were great. But recently, due to the shutdown, the global shutdown thing, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but there was this global shutdown of their system. Not just Delta's system, it was a Microsoft thing that happened about a month ago. It affected banks, hospitals, airports, you know, all that stuff. But Delta got hit really hard by it, and they canceled like an insane amount of flights, and people were stranded essentially for like a week or 2 just trying to get flights rebooked just to get to their destinations. The lines for Delta were ridiculously long. Apparently like the government was investigating the whole thing. I don't even know what the follow-up is with that. If I hear anything, I'll pop back in. So there was that whole thing. So I was nervous to fly with them, but I'd already had this flight booked before that whole fiasco happened. I was just like, well, maybe they're gonna be on their game because of everything that just happened. Like, hopefully they're gonna have like top tier service to just try and keep their customers happy. That was a wrong assumption. I don't even like know how to explain the whole situation, and I don't know if I want to like have public opinions on companies and stuff. Needless to say, I was just extremely disappointed with the way they handled the whole situation, and it is making me reconsider them as an airline. The workers weren't the problem. It was the pilot. Like the workers at the desk were great. All of the flight attendants and all of them were great. It was definitely a higher up issue, but a lot of the passengers felt like we were lied to. If I do fly with them again, I like Delta. Like, they're usually one of the better airlines to fly, but I don't know, they kind of ruined my trust with them. But anyways, I'm just glad that we're on our way back. We're still slowly moving. We're in traffic, but we're slowly moving, and that's all I can ask for. I just want to be home to sleep in my bed tonight. Day, and I'm on my lunch break right now. I'm definitely really exhausted. It was a long day yesterday. I got back last night and got to talk with my family a little bit. I had some dinner, and as soon as I ate, like, I just felt like I got hit by a bus. So then I went upstairs and went to bed, and then I had to get up early today for work. I got back okay. We finally made it home. Travel issues are not fun, but I'm thankful for you guys for joining me with them. So I just wanted to thank you for coming along with me, getting to hang out and catch up, keeping me company through all of that. I will look forward to talking to you guys soon. I hope you all are doing well and that life is going good. You guys are having a good rest of your summer. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.